What George Washington taught me about real estate. This week on The Brian Murray Show. Welcome to The Brian Murray Show, a real estate show, New Jersey style. I'm Brian Murray, and here's today's discussion point. George Washington, you know that guy right there. He didn't teach me how to save a buck on real estate. No, what he actually taught me was something really valuable that we should all understand if we're homeowners, sellers, investors, pretty much anybody who has anything to do with real estate. And that's this. So I was reading this book here, 1776, and if you haven't read it, what a great read it is. It really takes you through the start of the Revolutionary War in Boston all the way through here's George Washington as a 40-something-year-old guy, one of the 5 wealthiest people in America. Maybe a lot of people thought was the wealthiest person in America. Super well known, very powerful. The Continental Congress had to basically beg him to take the job, even though he didn't want it. They begged him, and he finally took the job. So here's this guy. So he gets shipped from his huge estate. He's got this project going on where he's expanding his house, and he's renovating his house at the same time, or pieces of it. And he has to leave and go do this war thing. So that's a big deal to him because he's not there. And so he's got a project man. A few days, a week. They weren't working. Okay, George Washington, the guy on the dollar bill, the guy on the quarter, the guy who's got the city named after him, the state named after him, the guy who is the guy, right? The general, the first president, the guy, the richest man in America, the guy, couldn't get his contractors and couldn't get his painters to do what they needed to do when he wasn't there. So why do you think that you're going to be able to get your contractor and then they go do something else? It's been happening for 245 years. It's going to happen for another 245 years. That's today's big takeaway. That's what George Washington taught me about real estate. You have to weekly market numbers, July 13th, 2021. Okay, so clearly I might not be in Hoboken or Jersey City, but that doesn't mean that the market doesn't keep going. And here's what it looks like. Big takeaways. In Hoboken, there's 187 active. That number keeps last 30 days are still they're sitting on the market a while. So your homes need to sell quickly, otherwise they're going to sit. That means pricing your home correctly to today's market. Very, very important. This is what these numbers are telling me right now, because your sale price is 99.1% But again, that's 60 days past. 118 condos sold in the last 30 days. No surprise there. Under contract in the last 30 days, 97. That includes July 4th and 5th. Those numbers are super strong. Less than 2 months of inventory. Market continues to be hot. But again, it's the have and have nots. They're starting to separate themselves. In Jersey City, about 4.5 months exactly there. Okay, that market might be a little softer, but you know, it's pretty consistent that it's 4.5 months, which in a lot of markets is still a little bit of a seller's market with the interest rates, that kind of thing. Still is very much a seller's market. Average sold to ask price is 98.8%. Those are the numbers you really need to know for this week's weekly numbers and some of the analysis. If you have specific questions about specific market segments, reach out to me and we can discuss 2-bed, 2-baths between 700,000 and 900,000. We can discuss larger homes, smaller homes, but it's important to really reach out and understand the numbers specifically for your segment. This is this week's weekly market numbers. The good, the bad, the ugly.